Well, good morning, everybody. This is a this is a video I was hoping I didn't have to make. Uh, it's about these charts. Now, it was all I could do to keep from laughing when I was making these charts. One guy thinks um, because the line is black, I'm a racist. The other person asked me, "Do you really think silver is going to be worthless?" Now, come on, people. The thing with charts is, and there's several guys on silver that do chart after chart after chart. Well, if you connect any dots and any lows and any highs and everything, and as that guy himself always says, there's arrows going in every which not direction, and they don't predict the future because they don't take into consideration what the Chicago Mercantile Exchange is doing, or whether Carlos Slims and George Soros are going to fuck with the market again. They don't take these things into consideration. These things, they just point arrows in every possible direction. And by doing that, they cover their ass because one of them has to be right. You know, you throw enough stones at a duck, and if he don't move, sooner or later you're going to hit the duck, right? Well, that's all this was. This was a joke, and I was using time and space just to show what a ridiculous joke it was. If you couldn't use anything from the past, and of course we do, or we fall into Santianas. If you don't learn from history, you're condemned to repeat it. But we can learn. We certainly learn things from the past, or we would be babbling idiots because we wouldn't know what words meant and everything else. So it wasn't an attack on the past. It was just a joke about showing how you could eliminate the past because you can't go back there. So I said, well, then we'll just throw all that trash out. Well, that would be throwing all of history, all of knowledge out the window. And of course, I'm a knowledge guy in favor of it. And then the present thing is it's so funny. I mean, it's so right on in the sense that no two people can know the present simply because of that slight fraction of a second. Even if say Trey was here, we're not both experiencing the present because he's experiencing something else different than I am because even the distance between us, the light takes time to travel there. And the idea that photons and all are and billions of years are going to circle back, and this chart's going to be here, and if I move it, it'll make it askew. It's just ridiculous. So I was hoping that everybody called on because I thought this was far and away the funniest shit that I'd ever done. Now people will sit there and watch me and Trey spit out cinnamon and think that's funny. That's ridiculous. And we'll probably do more ridiculous shit because you watch some people that do nothing but crazy shit. They get hundreds of thousands of hits. This is, I'm afraid, the mentality of the American public. And I don't know where I should have directed this chart thing, but all I was saying is don't go to these chart guys. They've got so many arrows flying in so many directions. They can always fall back on saying, "Well, see, I told you so." But they're not telling you which arrow is the right one. That's why I was saying how ridiculous it is. Just pick a color and go and go with the color. Well, of course, everybody was going to pick blue because blue was going through the roof. You know, but that's all it was. I mean, this was, as I said, it was the hardest thing for me to do to keep from laughing the whole time I'm explaining time and space and Heisenberg's uncertainty principle and every other data thing. The physics in it was correct. I mean, they do think they may have recently seen evidence that Higgs boson exists. They have to keep repeating the experiment a lot more times and get the same results. But the fact that you think quarks, leptons, and bosons, you know, they matter in the nature of they hold everything together. They're responsible for all subatomic activity. Uh, but that's not the level. The level we live on is all Newtonian physics. So settle down, everybody. And you got to realize, I guess I haven't conveyed it very very well, but I have a pretty good sense of humor, and I'm always keeping my friends around here laughing. But then they're more used to the dry humor that I throw out at them, And I want you to know that sometimes we'll throw a curveball out there, and be ready for it, and then pin me down on it. Don't let me get away with it. So don't worry. All this was an attack on the guys that cover their own ass with charts, and don't be so impressed with these people that do all this chart work, because anybody can connect the dots, and that takes you back to grade school, where you connect the dots and then you fill in the colors. Uh, so I want to apologize if that went over everybody's head, and next time I ought to have a little ticker tape going across the bottom saying, even though I look like I'm serious, this is a heavy duty humor. So thanks for your time, and I hope this clears it up for some people, because I just ran out of colors and used the black line. That's what the second chart, I went over it and used the black and blue line, because I said these people are getting beat up. So uh, that's, I guess, as far about as I can explain. The only good thing about it was, I guess, somebody wrote me and told me that they also have 3 eggs. So uh, it wasn't a complete waste. Thanks for your time, and I think me and Trey got some goofy crap coming, so I hope you find that. And anytime me and Trey are doing something, it's meant to be humor.